Hello and welcome back for another paranormal pit stop, which tonight will focus on the infamous Route 66. Oh, and on a side note, before we get started, we found a wealth of hauntings in our research that could occupy hours of uploads. So think of this as a generalization of the route's most infamous hauntings. And if you're interested in, we don't know, maybe an entire series on 66 hauntings, be sure to tell us so in a comment on this video. Also referred to as Highway 66, the Will Rogers Highway, the Main Street of America, and the Mother Road, 66 was actually one of the original highways included in the US highway system and would grow to become one of the most popular routes in the country, spanning a whopping 2,448 miles from Chicago, Illinois, through Missouri, Kansas, Oklahoma, Texas, New Mexico, and Arizona, before ending in Santa Monica, California. Historically, a wagon road was fashioned along the 35th parallel in 1857 to test the effectiveness of camels as pack animals in the southwestern desert. Through the late 19th and early 20th centuries, when official highways and state routes were laid, these early roads would be absorbed into the system. And on November 11th of 1926, US 66 was established, with road signs installed over the following years. The road would see heavy usage by those seeking new lives out west following the Dust Bowl and Great Depression, and by 1938, Route 66 would be officialized as the first major highway to be paved in its entirety. As a major plus, as the route welcomed in waves of travelers, tourists, and the like, it would breathe new life into smaller communities along it, many hosting numerous mom-and-pop businesses that had previously struggled. Over the years, 66 would see a number of improvements, realignments, and reroutes, and in 1985 would be removed from the US highway system in favor of newer and more effective routes. While officially the highway is decommissioned, portions of the old stretch remain as designated scenic byways under the title of the Historic Route 66, while other segments have been renamed or redesignated entirely. Chillingly, the old route's narrow sections, winding curves, and high traffic in its earlier years resulted in countless fatal accidents, earning it nicknames such as Bloody 66, Dead Man's Curve, Dead Man's Alley, the Devil's Elbow, and Slaughter Lane. And, not surprisingly, paranormal activity has been experienced across the entirety of its expanse. Near Fort Leonard Wood in central Missouri, over a 9-month period in 1941, there were over 454 documented accidents resulting in 54 fatalities, and those traveling by have reported shadowy figures sighted roaming the shoulders, strange voices and sentences heard over radios, and accounts of freshly serviced vehicles stalling out or suffering strange malfunctions. One segment of 66, stretching through the Black Mountains out of Oatman, Arizona, is recognized as the steepest portion of the old route and was perceived as so dangerous, namely due to its back-to-back hairpin turns, that tourists would actually hire locals to navigate it for them. Although this portion was officially removed from 66 in 1953, it remains open as the Oatman Highway, and along it, many have told of figures sighted on the sides of the road, bloody and broken, that look as though they've just walked away from a brutal crash that, when approached by drivers looking to help, fade into the darkness, as well as terrifying instances in which entities have manifested in the back seats of moving vehicles. A portion of 66 connecting Rolla to Springfield in Missouri overlaps with part of the Trail of Tears, which was followed by the Cherokee during their forced relocation in 1838. It's estimated that somewhere between 15,000 and 16,000 traveled the trail, and that 3,000 to 4,000 perished en route. And a handful of spine-tingling accounts tell of motorists who stopped for moments in the area only to witness massive crowds of entities in traditional Cherokee garb, many appearing tired or worn down, stretching into the distance further than the eye can see. Lastly, several ghost towns and abandoned locales dot the entirety of Route 66, and those who've dropped in to explore have reported disembodied footsteps, orbs in the backgrounds of photography, abnormal cold spots, and the constant feeling of being watched or stalked by something unseen. Thanks for tuning in for this paranormal pit stop. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Good night.